Hello and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking onto this video. I want to start a new series called Training Diaries, which is basically just me documenting my own training and sort of fitness journey and career and progression. One of my original intentions with this channel was to do just that, document my training, keep myself accountable and educate you guys and girls along the way as well. So as I document what I'm doing at the moment, hopefully I will be able to teach you guys and girls some good stuff about programming and skill development, etc. So here we go, episode number 1, Training Diaries. Quick side note, I probably won't be able to document everything that I do just because of limited time, setting up the camera in the gym and filming every single set, etc. It's just too time consuming. Sometimes when you've only got an hour to train, you just can't do it. But on the days where I can, I will document as much as I can and give you a bit of a synopsis and breakdown of the week. Okay, Training Diaries, episode 1, here we go. So like I was just saying then, I'll try and post what I can, but I won't be able to post every single workout. I may just have to give you a bit of a synopsis of each week, but I will try and post as many working sets as I can, but time is the limiting factor mainly here. So when it comes to programming, I've always done my own programming traditionally, and I've outsourced a couple of times in the past, but what I have done recently is outsourced everything. So I'm now using Wolfpack programming, so shout out to those guys and girls. The programming has been awesome so far, but it has been hefty, very hefty. But it's good just to see how other coaches program. And I'm aware that I have limited knowledge, everyone does, so it's good to see how other people program, and it just makes you a better coach and athlete as well. So today's warm-up was a 1,000-metre ski, like I was doing a few seconds ago in the video, which is already a hefty warm-up, 1,000 metres on the ski, depending how fast you are, I guess. Then it's 30 to 60 seconds worth of banded pull-aparts, like I'm doing here. Then a bit of dead hanging just to stretch off the lats and the pecs, some scap raises to activate the lats and the upper back, and then some unilateral stiff-legged deadlifts and some Jefferson curls into inchworms. So one thing I have noticed with this programming is the warm-ups are huge and usually quite specific to the session, which I really like. I think warming up properly is so underrated, and it can really make or break a session. The other thing I've noticed is these sessions are pretty big, which I don't mind. Obviously I work in the gym and I enjoy my training, so I don't mind training for long periods of time or breaking it up into multiple workouts throughout the day. I'm very fortunate in the sense that I get to do that with my job. But the thing is, with CrossFit and competitive fitness, there's so many skills and elements and energy systems you've got to practice and perfect, so there's no substitute for time. You've just got to put the time in perfecting these skills and lifts, and yeah. Usually a training day will consist of a big hefty warm-up specific to the session like I am doing here, and then it'll either be a gymnastics focus to begin with or an ollie lifting focus to begin with. Then there'll be a strength element, usually some squats or some pulls, and then there'll be an engine element, so a horrible metcon or conditioning piece at the end. They're usually taking about an hour and a half to up to 2.5 hours sometimes. Again, I try and reserve those massive sessions for the days when I've got the time, and then the shorter sessions I will do on days when I've not got time. These are Jefferson curls. These are a great exercise for stretching off the hammies and the back. Well, technically these are Jefferson curls into inchworms, sorry. So a Jefferson curl just looks like a really bad deadlift, but there shouldn't be any load, and if there is any load, it should be very, very light, so an empty bar or a PVC pipe. It's basically a dynamic stretch for the hamstrings rather than just doing static stretching, which I'm a fan of as well. I find when you're trying to warm up for a session, it's always more beneficial to do dynamic stretches. So Jefferson curls, highly recommend for improving hamstring flexibility, well, just flexibility through your entire posterior, to be honest. So I stupidly forgot to record my test at the beginning of this workout, which was a max set of strict pull-ups. So when I say strict, I mean hollow body position throughout, good tempo throughout, control, no swing. One thing I really like about this programming is the difference between strict and kipping work. There's a real emphasis on strict work. Strict builds strength, kipping builds efficiency. What I'm doing here is just a chin up hold, so chin above the bar for 20 seconds as an EMOM, alternating with a Superman hold on the rings, so a bit of isometric work, which I really like, something I probably wouldn't have programmed for myself previously. Really good for building positional strength and time under tension. So yeah, 20 seconds, chin above the bar, again in nice hollow position, and then on the next minute, 20 seconds in this Superman pose on the rings, again in a hollow body position. Okay, on to the next phase of the session, working up to a heavy single front squat and then 3x8 at 60% of that single. So this is quite early in the training block, which is why we're doing some tests, the max set of pull-ups and the heavy front squat single. And then I think this block is going to last about 12 weeks, and then I presume there'll be some retests at the end, which is how programming should be done. Test at the beginning, test at the end, and see how your hard efforts have paid off. Front squats, not a strength of mine, and mobility, just a lack of. So you can see my upper back is quite rounded there. So not a lot of thoracic extension. I need to work on that. And mobility in general, to be honest. But I always find the bottom of front squats quite a tough position to stay in. So I'm happy to be doing them. It's a weakness of mine that I need to work on. I think I definitely worked up to 100 kilos this day, and then obviously did my 3x8 at 60 kilos, easy maths. And yeah, we'll see how this progresses over the next 12 weeks. So just while I'm warming up, I'll talk about the rest of the week, or what the week typically looks like. I won't go into specific details about every single session, set, exercise, etc., because this video would have to be 2 hours long and no one wants that. So every day typically there is, well, I say every day, it's 6 days a week. There's an easy cardio day in the middle of there as well, which is always very welcome. But usually there's a big hefty warm-up specific to the session, and it usually involves dynamic stretching, a bit of activation work and a bit of cardio. Usually lasts about 20 to 30 minutes. There's usually some gymnastics, strength conditioning, there is some ollie lifting work, there is some strength work, and there is some engine work, and that tends to be how it is 5 days a week. Okay, top single for the day, 100 kilo front squat. Nothing massively impressive in the grand scheme of things, I know, but squat is a real weakness of mine, especially the front squat. I had a knee issue that lasted for at least a year that stopped me squatting altogether. It got to the point where even just doing a bodyweight squat hurt, so my left knee would just scream constantly. I think I never got a full diagnosis, but it was down to an issue with internal rotation in both of my hips. I just had bugger all internal rotation, and I think it was causing a bit of maltracking. But going from having painful air squats to doing a 100 kilo front squat, I'm happy with that. We're building back up, and it's the beginning of a training block. You don't want to max out at the beginning of a training block. You want to leave a little bit of room for progress. You don't want to cripple yourself. So when you watch this now, you'll see I probably could have doubled it, maybe even tripled it. So I'm happy with that. I know there's room for progress, and at the end of the 12 weeks we should see a good increment on this 100 kilo front squat. And 3x8 at 60 kilos, 60%. These back offsets, the percentage work, is where you get the most benefit, I think. It's where you build the most strength. It's definitely where you build the most hypertrophy. You're not really going to build much muscle from doing top singles. Top singles are great for improving skill and neuromuscular control, but doing this percentage work, doing the high volume stuff, is great for improving hypertrophy, which gives you more strength potential. And this was the horrible conditioning piece at the end of the workout. Usually every workout ends with a bit of engine work, a horrible conditioning piece. This one, it was meant to be a D-ball, but I only had a sandbag. So it's a 200-foot D-ball carry into 40 burpees over the D-ball, into a 30-calorie assault bike, into 20 D-ball to shoulder, and then another 200-foot D-ball carry. Time cap 12 minutes. Obviously I use a sandbag here, 40 kilo sandbag. I really like this sort of grunt work. I mean, I love my running still and my monostructural work, but it's good fun mixing it up with various exercises like this as well. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching it through till the end. I really appreciate it. I'd love this channel to take off eventually, so I really appreciate any views, likes, comments, etc. Speaking of comments, if there's any topics you want me to cover, nutrition, training, recovery related, drop them down below and I will gladly make some videos covering those topics. I did a random sandbag clean there for some reason. I think it's just a little bit delirious. It only had to be a sandbag to the shoulder. Don't know why I did that. So getting through the sandbag to shoulder and then the 200-foot carry. I didn't actually film the second carry because I thought you've already seen me carry that sandbag once, you don't need to see it twice. It'll just make this video longer than it needs to be, but I promise that I did it.